Across every single continent, millions of butterflies are abandoning their historical habitats and rapidly taking flight for new territories. A global assessment of nearly 1,800 species, representing 10% of all known butterfly diversity, has tracked these insects across 105 different countries to see where they are going. The results reveal a massive planetary redistribution. 1 in every 10 species studied has shifted its geographic range into entirely new territory. We monitor butterflies because they act as ecological sentinels. Their short life cycles and specialized environmental needs mean they are often the first animals to respond to environmental changes, signaling shifts that will eventually affect the rest of the food web. This mass migration is a warning. It signals that profound disruptions are currently underway across global ecosystems. In nearly 79% of these cases, the primary driver is climate change. Rising temperatures and severe extreme weather events are forcing these insects to find more suitable conditions to survive. For 80% of these shifting species, the response is rapid expansion, moving into higher latitudes or cooler regions as their old habitats become too hot. The tawny coster butterfly provides a clear example of just how fast this movement can happen. Native to the Indian subcontinent, the tawny coster has expanded across South Asia and into Australia at an astonishing rate of 135 kilometers per year. But expansion across flatland isn't the only way to escape the heat. In the Northern Hemisphere, many species are using a different strategy. They are moving up. Mountain-dwelling butterflies are climbing the slopes to stay within cooler temperature bands. But as the peaks warm, their available habitat continues to shrink. Whether they are crossing continents or ascending mountain ranges, these insects are in a constant, high-speed scramble to outrun rising temperatures. However, for some, movement isn't always possible. 27% of the species studied are actually facing range contractions, disappearing from their traditional homes without finding new ones. Human land use creates a physical barrier. Clearing forests destroys the habitat stepping stones butterflies need to migrate. These populations become trapped, pushed by a warming climate from one side, but blocked by a degraded, impassable ecosystem on the other. In Germany, this effect is currently driving the decline of the cranberry fritillary. These butterflies depend on specific wetlands to survive, but agricultural practices like peatland drainage have replaced their habitats with dry soil and drainage ditches, leaving them with no viable path to migrate. While climate change provides the plush, our destruction of the landscape blocks the path, leading to the collapse of these isolated populations. Despite these findings, our global picture is still incomplete. Current tracking data is heavily concentrated in Europe and North America, leaving massive gaps in our knowledge. This means that the world's most biodiverse regions, the Amazon basin, Central Africa, and Southeast Asia, are virtually unmonitored. This is a major concern because tropical species evolved in stable climates and have very narrow thermal tolerances. Unlike temperate butterflies that survive seasonal swings, many tropical species are already living at their absolute physiological limit. Even a fractional increase in temperature can be lethal. Without data from these hotspots, we may be missing the early signs of a catastrophic collapse in the world's most diverse insect communities. As the goals of the Paris Agreement become more difficult to achieve, butterfly habitats will continue to shift. Because the environment is changing so quickly, traditional conservation, where we simply protect a fixed area of land, is no longer enough to save these moving species. We need to transition to adaptive planning. This starts with protecting microrefugia, naturally shaded or forested areas that provide cooler local temperatures where butterflies can retreat on hot days. We must also prioritize building green corridors. By connecting fragmented habitats, we can provide the physical routes these insects need to track the climate and survive. The distribution of these insects is already changing in response to the warming world. If our conservation strategies do not become as dynamic as the species we are trying to save, the ecosystems that depend on them will fail.